Good afternoon and welcome to this Wednesday, February 13th edition of Westman Newsline. I'm Colton Yarch alongside Brandon Pretty and Dylan Donald. In today's news, we'll tell you about Brandon School Division Chairman Mark Sefton's reaction to the funding handed down by the government. As well, the hockey season will continue in a town shell-shocked by a tragic plane crash. And Brandon will be in with sports. Brandon, I understand the Jets ran out of fuel last night.
That's right, Colton. The Jets lost a nail-biter to the visiting Flyers, and goalie Andrei Pavlik came on in relief despite battling the flu. I'll have that and more later on in sports.
Thanks, Brandon. And Dylan will be in with weather. Dylan, I understand there's a chance we could be hitting the record books this week.
That's correct, Colton. And if what I'm projecting comes true, we could see temperatures above zero. Can you believe that? Currently in Brandon, overcast and -4, winds from the northeast at 7 kilometers an hour. I'll be back later on in the show with your full weather details.
Thanks, Dylan. The Brandon School Division felt it needed to add 36 teachers by 2017 to be able to handle the new mandate for classrooms capped at 20 students for kindergarten through grade 3. With what they're receiving, they'll be able to hire only 3 teachers this year. For the 2013-2014 school year, the Brandon School Division will be receiving $180,000 from the province. Board Chair Mark Sefton sees this amount as a disappointment as he estimates they will need $2.5 million to implement the 20 per classroom mandate. A spokesperson for Manitoba Education said their projections indicate the province is, quote, on track to helping Brandon School Division become CAP compliant. When the possibility of WestJet coming to Brandon was first announced, Southwestern Manitoba welcomed the idea with open arms. A petition created online received an impressive 10,000 signatures, with Mayor Sherry Decter-Hurst providing the first. But now, the Wheat City has been forced to play the waiting game. Earlier this week, WestJet announced Brandon had not made the cut for its expanded regional service. The airline is dedicated to providing service in Western Canada. So Fort St. John and Nanaimo, BC, along with Saskatoon, were chosen as the first sites for regional service. But Brandon's airport awaits, and the city hasn't given up hope.
I would say we're slightly disappointed, but we're still pretty happy knowing that it was just 2 announcements of many to come from WestJet, and I think we have a great business case to vie for passenger service. Just continue to let them know that we're waiting for WestJet.
Airline officials say they will add additional routes as the fleet grows bigger, but no timeline has been given. Waskata's minor hockey team has decided it will finish its season to honor 3 young players killed in a plane crash. Jason Wickham, an assistant coach on the local Canucks Adam team, says after Sunday's crash, everyone on the squad wanted to quit. But the parents of the remaining 8 players got together and talked, then went to visit the families of the dead children. Wickham says the message was that the boys would want their friends out on the ice playing hockey. The Manitoba government has implemented a new law taxing personal services such as tattooing, hairdressing, and piercing. Westman Newsline's Calvin Henryon has the story.
The Manitoba government has applied 7% provincial sales tax to a number of businesses previously unaffected by PST this past summer. As of July 1st of 2012, sales tax is now being collected for services such as hair salons, tattoo shops, spas, and tanning shops. This has placed additional financial stress on affected businesses and their customers, not to mention their accountants.
It makes it harder for our accountant, so probably charges us more money for that. It's more money for our clients.
Every year everybody else's prices and stuff go up. Now that we've had to increase it 7% already, it's kind of hard to increase it more than that because people already feel like they're paying extra money than they usually were before.
It is estimated that more than $100 million will be raised each year in tax revenue through this expanded program. A number of Brandon business owners are opposing taxing these services because they don't know where the money is going and what the government is using it for.
What they're doing with the money, I would sure love to know, but it's quite a bit more that you're collecting from the customers.
In addition to salons, spas, and tattoo parlors, there are a range of insurance products that are now subject to PST as well, some of which include property and casualty insurance, trip cancellation and baggage insurance, land titles, liability insurance, goods in transit, and mortgage insurance. So if you're planning to keep your haircuts under $50, get a Botox shot by your doctor, or look to get a massage, you won't be paying tax on those services. However, as the saying goes, the only certainties in life are death and taxes. And starting this year, Manitobans are paying a little bit extra. For Westman Newsline, I'm videographer Calvin Henryon.
We'll stick with the money discussion and take a look at where today's markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the IMA Media Production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports on Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline, airing at 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on WCG TV.
Christopher Dorner's alleged deadly rampage and the manhunt to find him appear to be over this morning. Authorities say the police officer did not emerge from a Big Bear, California cabin after it was set on fire Tuesday night. If it's confirmed to be him, it will mark the end of an alleged killing spree in which authorities say Dorner took the life of one police officer, a sheriff's deputy, and 2 other people. Jim Spellman has been following this developing story throughout the overnight hours and brings us the very latest from outside Los Angeles Police Headquarters.
It's now a waiting game in California for confirmation that the body found inside a charred cabin is that of ex-cop turned fugitive and alleged killer Christopher Dorner.
It's difficult to identify the remains of someone in a building, and that could take days or possibly even weeks to do a DNA analysis or a forensic dental analysis, depending on the condition of the body.
A man matching Dorner's description was spotted driving in the Big Bear area Tuesday. A chase and 2 shootouts ensued. 2 sheriff's deputies were shot, 1 killed.
All law enforcement agencies is a brotherhood, so this is a very difficult day, again, for law enforcement.
Authorities say Dorner spent hours holed up in a remote cabin. With the area surrounded, police detonated smoke devices, likely marking a fiery end to an alleged killing rampage that began more than a week ago.
I can tell you that for the week that this thing has been going on, there was very little normal police work that was going on. Every police officer involved had their head on a swivel, constantly, just relentless pressure, just looking around.
Investigators say Dorner was out to avenge his firing from the Los Angeles police force by targeting officers and their families. On February 3rd, he allegedly gunned down the daughter of an officer involved in his termination hearing, along with the woman's fiance. Last week, the fugitive fired on 4 police officers in 2 different encounters, killing 1. Police say they'll leave no stone unturned finding anyone who may have assisted Dorner when he was on the run. Reporting from LAPD headquarters, I'm Jim Spellman.
An Atlanta area man is facing charges for allegedly stealing a donut truck, and the whole thing was caught on camera. Carrie Kavanagh has the story.
Was it a crime of opportunity, a chance for a joyride, or a thief with one heck of a sweet tooth?
If you've had a hot Krispy Kreme, they're pretty good.
Nobody will like the donut that much, will steal the whole truck.
Hard to believe, but convenience store owner Peter Thacker's got the proof. On Thursday night, the Krispy Kreme delivery man arrived at the Quick Shop on Decula Road on schedule. Store surveillance video shows him unloading the trays of fresh Krispy Kremes.
Don't even stay more than probably 2 minutes in the store.
But another camera shows another man approaching the truck. Seconds later, he and the truck are gone. One can only imagine the glazed look in the driver's eyes when he realized what happened. The store clerk immediately called police.
The first thing I thought was funny, cops chasing the donut truck.
Police say the driver, James Freddie Major, led them on a nearly 15-mile chase. He went from Decula Road down 316 to Interstate 85.
Could you imagine going down the interstate and seeing the Krispy Kreme donut truck with the cops chasing behind it, flashing lights? What would you think?
He eventually came to a dead end in a residential neighborhood. Police say he tried to run, but a police dog tracked him down.
Well, especially if you're on a diet, hot Krispy Kremes are pretty irresistible.
Fresh donut, they're always good, right?
That's it for news, but stay tuned. Dylan's up next with Newsline Weather.
Good afternoon with Newsline Weather, I'm Dylan Donald. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful day we had yesterday, and despite a couple of colder days expected for tomorrow and Friday, the weekend brings a lot of hope that spring is right around the corner. Currently in Brandon, overcast and -4 with the winds from the northeast at 7 kilometers an hour. This evening, cloudy sky, -1 for a high, and the winds from the north at 10 kilometers an hour, with flurries beginning later in the evening. Overnight, those flurries will continue, expected 1 to 2 centimeters of snow. Periods of snow, -16 for a high, and the winds from the northeast at 20 kilometers an hour. Taking a look at our radar image, there is a 60% chance of flurries this evening and overnight, diminishing by sunrise though. Moving to our satellite image, cloud cover continues to make its way over from the west coast. Moving to our 5-day forecast now, Thursday and Friday will be cooler than yesterday, sitting around -10 for both days. Friday we will see the sun, however. For the weekend, something we haven't seen since the snow arrived, temperatures hovering around 0. +2 for a high Saturday and 0 for Sunday. Both days cloudy sky, and Saturday there is a 60% chance of flurries. Moving to the beginning of next week, things will cool off again for Monday. Mix of sun and cloud, a high of -12 and a low of -14. Now let's take a look around the region for this hour. Winnipeg -7, Portage la Prairie -5. As we move north, Dauphin is sitting at -5 as well. Neepawa -4, Carberry -8, Killarney -4, Minnedosa -6, and Verdun rounds out the region in at -5 degrees this hour. Seasonal norms for this time of year are a high of -9 and a low of -20. The record high was set back in 1983 when the temperature was +3.9. The record low was -36.2. That was back in 1979. Once again in Brandon, it's overcast and -4 with the winds from the northeast at 7 kilometers an hour. That's it for weather, but stick around. Brandon's up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Brandon Pretty. The Philadelphia Flyers shook off a loss in Toronto the night before to beat the Winnipeg Jets 3-2 Tuesday night and win the second road game of the current NHL season. Brayden Schenn, Kimmo Timonen, and Ty McGinn scored for the Flyers, coming off a 5-2 loss in Toronto. Jakub Voracek had 2 assists. Andrew Ladd scored both goals for the Jets, the last in the dying seconds. Winnipeg was coming off a 1-0 win in Ottawa on Saturday. Ilya Bryzgalov was solid in net for the Flyers, who were outshot 26-23. Al Montoya recorded his first loss as a starter for the Jets, with 2 wins including Saturday's 1-0 shutout, when he overtook for a flu-stricken Andrei Pavelec. Pavelec replaced him in the third after he was reported with a lower body injury for Montoya. Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Mark Buehrle is making the most of spring training since his family and pets are with him. But when the season starts, Buehrle will be moving to Toronto solo. Wife Jamie, children Braden, and Brooklyn, and their 4 dogs won't join him. That's because one of the dogs is a pit bull named Slater, and there's a pit bull ban in Ontario. Buehrle says responsible dog owners don't dump their animals, and he wants to bring awareness to the breed ban. Buehrle says he doesn't want to make it a big story, but not having his family in Toronto, quote, does suck. But he says other players are also apart from their families, and he's lucky to have the resources to make it work. Dwight Howard had 19 points and 18 rebounds. Antoine Jameson had 19 points, and the Los Angeles Lakers survived Kobe Bryant's bizarre 4-point performance in their 8th win in 11 games, 91-85 over the Phoenix Suns on Tuesday night. Bryant didn't attempt a shot on the first half and scored his first basket with 2:13 to play, finishing 1 for 8 with 8 turnovers in one of the oddest games of his 17-year career. Yet the Lakers survived against the Suns, getting 17 points from Metta World Peace and maintaining the small lead down to the stretch of the 12th win in Phoenix's last 13 visits to the Staples Center. Michael Beasley scored 18 points and Luis had a 15 for the Suns and had lost for 8 of 10. And Colton, that's it for sports.
Thanks, Brandon. That's all the time we have for you today. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.